All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Trustees regular board meeting. Today's Tuesday, April 16, 2024, and I call this meeting to order at exactly 5:31 p.m. Roll call. Dr. Ariel Cruz.
Present.
Mr. Rudy Corona.
Present.
Mr. Fructuoso Gomez.
Present.
Mr. Oscar Medrano.
Present.
Alex Reina.
Present.
Mario Silva.
Present.
Alfredo Perez.
Present.
And Mr. Baltasar Salazar is sitting in for Tony Torres today. Okay, perfect. Thank you, sir. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Rudy Corona, 1.2 and 1.3, the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. Mr. Rudy.
Tonight we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation from Global Leadership Academy at Fred Booth, and their principal is Ms. Gabrielle Ocomares. For the pledge, we have Ms. Eleni Alvarez. She is an 11-year-old fifth grade student at Global Leadership Academy at Fred Booth Elementary. She is the daughter of Maria Sierra, and her stepfather is Nathaniel Sierra. Eleni loves playing softball and basketball. She plays softball for the Diamond Divas and was a point guard for the Celtics basketball team. She is the National Elementary Honor Society and is in the music club. She participated in the canned food drive and the Christmas toy drive, donating canned foods to the San Benito Food Pantry and toys to the Harlingen Pediatric Associates, respectively. For the invocation, we have Ms. Isabel Vasquez. Ms. Isabel Vasquez is an 11-year-old fifth grade student at Global Leadership Academy at Fred Booth Elementary. She is the daughter of Alvaro Vasquez and Velma Cisneros. Isabel loves conducting science experiments in school. Her hobbies are reading and drawing. Isabel is in the National Elementary Honor Society, a Fred Booth Dazzler, and a member of her campus Kids News Network. She participated in the Blankets for Chemo Drive, donating blankets to Texas Oncology in Harlingen, canned food to the Canned Food Drive benefiting the San Benito Food Pantry, and donated toys to the Christmas Toy Drive for Harlingen Pediatrics. Ms. Alvarez and Ms. Vasquez, if you'd like to step to the podium. And if everybody can please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you give us direction, wisdom, and support for this meeting. Be with our school board and superintendent as they engage in meaningful discussion. Help them to work together for the students of the San Benito community. Fill them with your grace and guidance. Heavenly Father, watch over this district and leaders as they make decisions for the students and staff. Bless them with your vision as you guide them into the future. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you, ladies. If you would remain standing, we have a certificate for both of y'all, and everybody else can sit down. We'd also like to recognize Ms. Vasquez and Ms. Alvarez's parents. If y'all could please stand if you're in the audience. Thank you. And their principal, Ms. Ocomares.
Next on the agenda is agenda item number 2, special recognitions, and that this is an awesome opportunity for us to continue to showcase all the wonderful things our students do. So at this moment, we're going to, the one and only Mr. Luis Gonzalez. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Board President Lopez, members of the board, Acting Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Fred Bettis, and members of the audience. This is the portion of the meeting where we get to recognize the accomplishments of students and staff across our district. As we start winding down the year, we have a busy schedule of recognizing all the accomplishments of students and staff throughout the year. They've been working hard almost the whole year for these accomplishments that they've achieved, and we want to go ahead and take this time to recognize them in front of their parents, in front of the board, and everyone else. So at this time, we're going to recognize the San Benito High School varsity girls powerlifting team. There's 13 regional qualifiers as they placed third at regionals. We include on this team, beginning with Haley Galarza, a 10th grader at San Benito High School. Our next student is Alyssa Baker, 11th grade, San Benito High School. Our next student is Mia Gutierrez, 12th grader at San Benito High School. Our next student is Janisa Siles, 12th grader from San Benito High School. Next is Jordan Garza, 10th grader, San Benito High School. Our next student is Leandro Machuca, 11th grade, San Benito High School, who also was a regional qualifier. Leandro Machuca. Our next student is Mia Munoz, 11th, 12th grader, San Benito High School. Josana Montes, 11th grade, San Benito High School. Clarissa Rodriguez, 10th grade, San Benito High School. Arabelle Aguirre, 12th grade, San Benito High School. Jaslyn Estrella, she's a regional qualifier, also 12th grade at San Benito High School. And Emily Moreno, 10th grade, San Benito High School. And these accomplishments cannot be done without the support and guidance of our head coach for our girls powerlifting team, Mr. Greg Blanco. Some of the accomplishments that they achieved this year was attending the THSWPA Regional Championships at the Burt Ogden Arena in Edinburgh, Texas on February 26th of 2024. Again, let's give a round of applause for our students here. We have some more accolades to discuss and to share with our varsity girls powerlifting team. There were 5 state qualifiers that competed at the THSWPA State Championships at the Co-America Center Arena in Frisco, Texas, and that was on March 13th, 2024. These are, they placed 6th overall at state, and these are the individual awards awarded at the state competition. Haley Galarza, 4th place, 10th grade, San Benito High School. Alyssa Baker, 5th grade, 11th grade, 5th place, 11th grade, San Benito High School. A huge accomplishment at this next award. Leandro Machuca placed 2nd in the state, runner-up to state champion, 11th grade, San Benito High School. Also competing was Alyssa Nino, 11th grade, San Benito High School. And another state runner-up, second place statewide, Jocelyn Estrella, 12th grade, San Benito High School. And again, they were under the direction of head coach Greg Blanco. Let's give those students and coaches the big round of applause for the varsity girls powerlifting team from San Benito High School. Next to be awarded from San Benito High School is the boys powerlifting team. They were regional and state qualifiers. They include Angel Trevino, regional and state qualifier, 11th grade, San Benito High School. Daniel Tirado, regional and state qualifier, 12th grade, San Benito High School. Isaac Ramirez, regional and state qualifier, 12th grade, San Benito High School. And Robert Cruz, regional qualifier, 10th grade, San Benito High School. They're under the leadership and guidance and coaching from head coach Carlos Guayar and assistant coach Mario Marmolejo. They competed at Edinburgh at the regional tournament and at the state tournament in Abilene, Texas. Let's give a big round of applause for the boys powerlifting team, both regional and state qualifiers, and representing San Benito High School. Congratulations, students and coaches. Thank you all. Congratulations. Our next group of students are also from San Benito High School, and they are part of the Skills USA Cosmetology Skills Competition and Projects. The placement of the Skills USA District Conference and advance to the Skills USA State Conference. These are all students accomplished in their field of cosmetology studies. We begin with Kiara Garcia. She's in 11th grade, San Benito High School. Laura Castillo, 12th grade, San Benito High School. Juan Beltran del Toro, 12th grade, San Benito High School. Cynthia Castillo, 12th grade, San Benito High School. Alessandra Constante, 12th grade, San Benito High School. Natalia Rodriguez, 12th grade, San Benito High School. Victoria Lopez, 12th grade, San Benito High School. Connie Lopez, 11th grade, San Benito High School. Alexis Lara, 11th grade, San Benito High School. Julissa Rodriguez, 12th grade, San Benito High School. Ashley De Leon, 12th grade, San Benito High School. And Haley Reyes, 11th grade, San Benito High School. And their sponsor and teacher is Miss Sylvia R. Wall. These students had placement skills at the Skills USA District Conference held on February 16th and 17th, 2024 in Harlingen. They advanced to the Skills USA State Conference, which was held April 6th and 7th, 2024 in Corpus Christi, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give one more round of applause to our cosmetology skills students from San Benito High School. Congratulations, students and staff. We appreciate your hard work, and we look forward to next year with your accomplishments. The next student was not able to show, but we will recognize her achievements. Ms. Eleni Leal attended the annual RGV Regional Science and Engineer Fair. Eleni won 4th place in the senior division of the biochemistry category at the 64th annual RGV Regional Science and Engineering Fair, which was held on February 17th at UT RGV, and that was the RGV Regional Science Engineering Fair. She placed 4th, representing VMA as a 9th grade student. Congratulations to Eleni Leal on that accomplishment. Those are our accomplished students. Now we're going to move on to our staff. This next group of staff is very highly accomplished, and I'm going to read some accolades for this department and for the staff. The San Benito CISD after-school program is thrilled to celebrate their 25th year of providing enriching after-school opportunities to students of San Benito CISD. We are grateful for the invaluable contributions from our dedicated staff, committed families, and esteemed partners. Since our inception in 1999, we have remained steadfast in our mission to empower students with engaging and educational experiences beyond the traditional school day. With the support and initiatives such as the Nita M. Lowry 21st Century Community Learning Centers Grant, which is known as Texas ACE, also the Texas COVID Learning Acceleration Supports, TCLAS 11, Additional Day School Year ADSY Grant, Stronger Out of School Time Grant, and the Juntos 4-H Grant, we have been able to expand the offerings and reach even more students and families within our community. The San Benito CISD after-school program has been awarded through the Texas ACE Cycle 11, which covered in 2023-2024, $1,700,000. They were also awarded in the Texas ACE Cycle 12 in 2023-2024 with $1,588,000. The Juntos 4-H Grant in 2022 to 2026 allotted $67,800 over 4 years. The ADSY 2023-2024 grant approximately was $260,000, and the TCLAS 11 2022-2024 was allotted $812,500. The Stronger OST 2023-2025 grant was in the amount of $187,840. The San Benito CISD after-school program has been awarded a total of $4,616,140 for San Benito CISD students. Through annual events such as Fall Festival, Elementary Soccer League, Family Engagement Community Fair, Family Fishing, and GED ESL classes for adults, we strive to create a holistic and inclusive learning environment that fosters growth, development, and success for all our participants. A variety of enrichment opportunities include the award-winning district chess program, the popular esports gaming, and the welding and culinary arts classes. Additionally, our focus is on academic excellence through programs like TSI preparation, high-impact tutorials, and academic assistance, furthering our commitment to support the educational attainment of every single student in San Benito CISD. San Benito CISD after-school program is proud to uphold the gold standard in education, and together we are making a meaningful difference in the lives of students, families we serve. We want to publicly recognize our ASP staff, who has been instrumental in keeping the momentum of our program going for over 25 years. April 22nd through the 26th is the official after-school Professionals Appreciation Week, and we would like to, at this time, recognize the staff of the entire San Benito CISD after-school program. We begin with our director, Nancy Casas. Our assistant director is Jessica Guerra. Curriculum specialist is Melinda Gonzalez. Family engagement specialist is Carmen Galindo. Family engagement specialist, Jessica Diaz. Program secretary, Abigail Garza. Program Secretary Tadzi Lopez, Program Secretary. Alyssa Guerra, Program Assistant. And on the front lines at every single school, we have our site coordinators, beginning with Rocio Rosas at La Encantada Elementary, Ruth Ramirez, Frank Roberts Elementary, Amy Urias from Angela Leal Elementary, Victoria Reina, Fred Booth Elementary, Edna Gonzalez from La Paloma Elementary, Saraí Catache from Berta Cavasa Middle School, Abel Fonseca, Miller Jordan Middle School, Michelle Ruelas from Riverside Middle School, Cynthia Alvarez, San Benito High School, Marilyn Rodriguez from Dr. Cash Elementary, Michelle Rodriguez, Dr. Garza STEAM Academy, Gracie Cubarullas at Downs Fine Arts Academy, Aisha Roque from Judge Oscar de la Fuente Elementary, Marina Guzman from Rangerville Elementary, Angel Reina from Sullivan Environmental Science Academy, and Kimberly Cuellar from Veteran Memorial Academy. Every young person deserves quality after-school experiences that positively impact their education. It takes skilled professionals to create these experiences. Because of their important role as San Benito CISD, after-school program professionals play in the students' lives, they deserve the recognition and support they deserve. Congratulations to our after-school program and to the students they serve. Congratulations. Okay. Thank you. At this time, please forgive me for not introducing all the parents that were recognized, of the students that were recognized today. Please stand, parents. If you're here in the audience, please stand to be recognized, and thank you for supporting your students and your families during their experiences here at San Benito High School. Thank you very much, parents. Muchas gracias a los padres que están aquí, apoyando a sus estudiantes y todo lo que hace para sus hijos cada día aquí en San Benito. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our recognitions for this evening. Thank you.
Once again, thanks to parents and the kids and all the successes. Let's move on to presentations. 3.1, Department of Special Services.
Good evening, Board President Lopez, Acting Superintendent Mr. Perez, and Board of Trustees. Today, we're going to do a presentation on autism. Thank you very much for the invitation and this opportunity. So the PowerPoint.
Ms. Rivas Leal, while they're taking their time to
Yes.
set up the presentation, I just wanted to thank you and your staff for everything that you do for the special needs students in our district. I know that we've had conversations one-on-one in committee meetings,
Yes.
and thank you for this presentation that you're going to put on. And on behalf of the entire board, the autism walk that you had a couple weeks ago, it was just amazing to see all the pictures and everybody just come together, and it was a great opportunity for our district to see everything that we have and how all of our differences make us just the greatest district.
I wholeheartedly agree. Thank you so much for that compliment. Yes, it was a very well-attended autism walk. Our community came together, school community, the city of San Benito. It was wonderful. So here we go, autism. We use the words accept, understand, and support when we talk about autism. So what is autism? Autism is a developmental disorder that affects social interactions, communication, and behavior. Many people ask, what causes autism? What kind of blood test is there? What kind of medical exam is there? At this time, there is no medical exam, there is no blood test, no physical test. It is a parent with an infant who notices a developmental delay. What we tell parents is your first point of contact is your pediatrician. A visit with a pediatrician discussing those developmental delays then triggers a referral. So research today says there is no known cause. There are some influences, genetic influences, environmental factors, but at this point, we cannot specifically say what causes autism. What I do want to say is, though, once a child does get referred from the pediatrician or an early intervention agency like Easter Seals, is that that family comes to us here in San Benito. And what we do is we then evaluate. So our autism population in San Benito, we currently service 363 students with a disability of autism. Currently, we have 21 referrals pending that we are evaluating. So that number is going to increase by the end of the year. 26%, this marks 26% of the 1,392 children served by special education in San Benito. Our multidisciplinary team is a collective group of experts that evaluate the children. We actually evaluate from birth, not just 3 years of age, if we are suspecting a visual or a deaf and hard of hearing impairment. Our autism specialist, our district is fortunate enough to have an autism specialist that assists with the evaluation, the recommendations, and developing goals and objectives to meet the needs of our children. And we do that through a continuum of services. What does that mean? That every child with autism is different and is serviced in different settings. So we service in a regular education classroom, a regular education classroom with support. Sometimes we pull out children sometimes the children are serviced in a self-contained classroom, and sometimes the children are serviced at home. So I'm going to pass on our autism specialist here. She's going to briefly talk to you really quickly. Her name is Ms. Stephanie Aguilar.
Right. Good evening. So, as the autism specialist, I get to have the opportunity to work not only with our students with autism, but our teachers in the special ed setting, as well as our general education teachers. But my biggest one that I really, truly do enjoy working with is our parents. Every year, we get to sit down annually to review our IEPs for our students. With our students with autism, we do have to address what we call an autism supplement. And TEA guidelines state that we have to address behavior, communication, and social interactions. So through there, we get to identify 11 different areas that include extended year services, we include our student-teacher ratios. We look at that, how is it going to affect our students to be successful in the classroom no matter what setting they're in. We get to look at our in-home parent trainings, our community trainings, and I know we did hand out some folders to you guys. So one of the big parts that we get to work with our staff is to provide our parents and our teachers with visual aids, anything that they need, whether it be they're transitioning throughout the day and they need those visual supports. So I know you guys have a first then in your folder that says, first our board meeting, then home, and you all are working for dinner. So we specialize in making these visuals specifically for our students and for our parents to work on any behavioral needs, any behavioral concerns that they have at home. We also provide any training that they need to do, so we can come in. They can come into our office, they get to sit down with me and any of our staff that's there. We get to show them videos, we offer them other trainings that are provided in the region or in the state that they get to participate in. So let's see, I don't know what's on the next page. So what we don't see in autism, a lot of the times we see the tantrums, the struggles that our students have, the meltdowns, and we obviously always go to, oh, well, they're just misbehaving, they're chiflaos, but what we really don't see and what we really want are gen ed teachers, our special ed teachers, our community to see what's on the bottom of this iceberg. And on the bottom, it's our sensory overloads, our anxiety because of the situations that they're put in. And that is our big role, that is my big role, because I want to educate as many people as I can and provide them with all of the resources that they need so that when we are working with our students with autism, they are successful. They are included just like everybody else in our general education classroom, because meeting with our parents, that is always the biggest thing. Our parents always sit down with us and they're always telling us, I just want them to do what my other children are doing. I want them to be included in the groups and in the clubs. I want them to participate in presentations and performances. What can we do to get them there? So that is my biggest role, is what do we need to do? What can we provide so we can have them performing, even if it's just, standing off in a corner and we're slowly working our way down to being the full performance, just like we had at our autism event on Friday. So I'm going to pass it back to Miss Larissa.
So what do we do here in San Benito? We support social needs. We teach explicit social skills instruction, and I put some pictures up here of some of the social skills activities that we do. This activity here is a self-control scanner where the teachers are sitting with students and explicitly going over things like, what am I feeling, what am I thinking? They're actually getting to do some video modeling. So we have a specific scope and sequence for social skills. We have some really good feedback. Teachers are saying students are improving, students really like the program, students look forward to social skills, and students are more engaged. Supporting communication, which is the other third of the autism spectrum disorder, is our core boards. We have a big campaign push this school year for core boards. So if you've been on the campuses, you've seen these boards, not just in the classrooms, but in PE, library, cafeteria. And what this is aimed to do is to help with comprehension. We have children on the autism spectrum disorder that are nonverbal. And so to aid in comprehension, children think and see in pictures. And so they're learning the words, the vocabulary words, with these core boards. To support our sensory needs, we have now in our school district our third sensory room that just opened up at La Paloma Elementary. And so we have our lead occupational therapist here, Miss Bettina Cisneros, who's going to briefly talk to you about our sensory rooms.
It'll be brief because I can go on and on about this subject, but I'm super excited to be highlighting these rooms, especially during Autism Awareness Month, because it's usually our kiddos with autism who struggle the most with sensory processing difficulties. Like she said, we have 3 currently being utilized and implemented, and they were trained on, and the kiddos are doing great with them. I'm working on the 4th one currently at Sullivan, so I'm excited about that one and to complete that one. But really, there was a lot of legwork that was done prior to even the design and the product, the purchasing of the equipment from the rooms. I was able to visit neighboring districts, sensory rooms, talk to special education staff from other districts, and really see and get feedback from them on what was working and what wasn't. I felt that if we were going to spend the time and energy and resources in doing these rooms, that we needed to do them right. We're noticing really positive behavioral changes with our students that have been utilizing them, increased self-regulation, increased attention, increased focus. They're utilizing the rooms and heading back to class and really being in that optimal state for learning. Research tells us that when our sensory system is intact and regulated, that it really is a catalyst for development, and that's what we're seeing. We do the trainings consistently, and I have really seen an improvement with our kiddos. Actually, I do the training and then I leave and I'm doing all these other things, and I really don't get to see the sensory rooms in action. 2 weeks ago, I was at a campus and a teacher walked in with a student who we specifically talked about needed that room. I stood back and I said, do your thing, I'm just going to observe. And that 15-minute session was done impeccably and exactly as she was trained. After the session, I went up to her and I was a little teary-eyed, and I said, wow, that really was amazing. And she said, you know, Ms. Cisneros, this is the 4th day consistently using it with this child, and it has worked wonders. He's ready, he goes back to class, and he's doing his work where he otherwise wouldn't. So I'm just really excited about these rooms. I hope that this is just a starting point for more rooms to come in our district. Even to inspire community, vendors and partners to open up sensory rooms at different venues and stadiums, and maybe we can have one at the Greyhound Stadium one day, so that our kids can participate and they can be included and they can attend these events that they wouldn't otherwise attend. So I'm grateful to Ms. Leal for her support. I'm grateful to the rest of the special education staff that helped and supported me. It just has been an eye-opening experience for me. Mr. Leslie over at the painting department, each room has a different theme. And so I would show him a picture for a mural on the wall and his eyes would open up. And he's like, he never said no. He said, I'm going to try. I'll do it that way. We'll work together. So I think I'm grateful to the partnerships I've made with other staff from other departments as well, to work together to really help to improve the lives of our kiddos. So thank you so much for your support. So I think what sets us apart from other rooms in other districts, and a lot of the research and data I've collected, is that the consensus I gathered from teachers utilizing the rooms is that they felt that they were trained or not trained enough, and then they would use the rooms and not know what to do with them. So these specific posters were designed, if you could see them, I don't know if you could see them. Okay, great. So these specific posters were designed, and if you see on the left-hand column, there are indicators, and that is specific behaviors that the kiddos exhibit. And on the right-hand side, there are activities with all the equipment and things they would use in that room to help regulate those behaviors. And every sensory room in our district has these posters. So really they serve as a guide to help our teachers know what to do once they're in there with our kiddos. So if you could see, these are some of our kiddos that are already utilizing the room, and it's just amazing to see. We're really proud of this initiative. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, Mrs. Nettles, I got a question, or ma'am, and either of you. This is really awesome to see, all the great work you guys are doing with our kids, and it's very important. What's our goal, ma'am? I mean, because the numbers here are, yeah,
Staggering.
So, yes, they are.
And it continues to grow, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so what's our vision for the future as far as the finances from special ed? I mean, what's your vision? Is every single elementary going to need one of these sensory rooms? Or what's your all's vision for the next couple of years?
Okay, so I guess the financing part, Ms. Larissa
Okay,
can
that's
talk
fine.
about, but our goal is really to have one in every campus where a kiddo with a sensory need, where they would need it. I would love to have one in every elementary. I would love to have them in our middle schools as well. We have kiddos in the unit who have severe sensory processing deficits as well, and they need it. So I would love to see that in every room. I think I kept, with budget in mind, I really did well with a fraction of a cost of what some of the other rooms and the data I gathered for some of the other rooms cost to make these rooms. And I think that you can have a $15,000, $20,000 room like they do in other districts, but it is really only as good as the teacher who is driving that session and who's trained properly. We did it at a fraction of the cost, and we're seeing positive behavioral results.
How much does a sensory room cost approximately? Do you know?
I think we spent about $3,000.
$3,000? Okay.
Yes, but typically, they're ranging $15,000 to $20,000.
What elementary school we don't have a sensory room you think we should put one in?
So we
All of
have
them?
several principals
Yeah.
that have requested sensory
Okay.
rooms, and so we are, right now, Ms. Cisneros is working on one at Sullivan, at
Okay.
CESA, and that's going to have a stingray theme. We just finished painting it this past Saturday. And we have Oscar de la Fuente that's going
Yeah.
to have a very unique sensory type of room, a kind of a motor lab for our children with behavioral difficulties. But I do commend Ms. Cisneros because she finds a way, MacGyver's a way to find the item that's worth $10,000 for like maybe $200, because Amazon is our friend sometimes, and so while the big catalog has it for a real high price, she finds a way to either make it or have someone in the district help her construct it, and so she is very conscientious of budget. In special education, we are underfunded, I think, as you know, across the state.
Ms. Rivas, like I said, I've seen the pictures from La Paloma, and that sensory room is just, it looks amazing. I do know that there are sensory rooms at other campuses, like I know JODLF has one that isn't.
Right, it's not up to par yet, but
Correct.
we are going to start working on it as soon as we're done with CESA. She already ordered, we're waiting. She's met with the principal. They've already come up with a design or the theme that they're going to work on.
So even the sensory rooms that maybe we've had in place that aren't up to par, we're working towards getting those up to
Yes,
the same standard? Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure.
So what is the total of sensory rooms right now?
total we have 3. We're working on another one at CESA. So hopefully by the first quarter of next school year, we'll have a total of 5, including Judge Oscar de la Fuente.
But the 2 that we have besides La Paloma need to be.
No, so Ed Downs Elementary was completed earlier this fall. Dr. Garza STEAM was completed earlier this fall as well. And now this spring, we're working on CESA and ODLF. And middle schools have approached me and said, can we get a sensory room? We have a lot of students that have ADHD, sensory needs as well. So that's something that we're looking at in the future as well.
Ma'am, question.
Yes.
You're taking it kind of slow because of funding, or do you all need some more funding for that?
Yes, we need a lot of funding.
Thank you, ma'am.
Where's Ms. Mata?
Ms. Mata? Hi.
Just want to make a statement. I attended the La Paloma last week, and I think you all did a great job.
Yes, Dr. Gomez was excellent
Yes.
in putting that ceremony together. It was Dr. Gomez that put on that ceremony. And the credit really goes to Ms. Cisneros, my staff. They came, and Ms. Cisneros came and said, you know, this is what we need. And so we said, let's find a way. And she really has run with it as our lead occupational therapist. She has years, multiple years of experience, not just in the school district, but outside the school district. So her expertise has given way to success.
I saw that the number that I had asked for, and you brought it today, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. 326 students.
363 students are identified with autism in our school district, and that's from 3-year-old to 21.
Thank you. Thank you for what you guys are doing. I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. I'm very excited. This is the first time I get to see an actual presentation of autism. And my question is, every morning we have the transportation department, I guess, I'm assuming they pick up most of our students with autism. Have we done presentations with our transportation or our drivers, or we have monitors also? I think it's very important for them.
You're
to know.
absolutely correct. It is very important. Staff development is not just for teachers, it's for every member of our school district. One thing that we do with transportation is our crisis prevention intervention training. We do our CPI training. And there is a specific training, CPI, just for autism. But you're absolutely correct. We should present on autism with everyone,
Yes.
with all stakeholders.
Yeah, because my main concern, it's if something happened in one of our school buses, so our bus drivers know what to do.
Yes, sir.
And because they're the first one, they get to see the kids every morning, and they make the first contact with our parents, and at the end of the day,
They're
same
the
thing.
last ones.
Yes, so
Yes.
if it's possible.
Yes,
And-
sir, we'll run with that.
Once again, man, thank you so much. And honestly, it's a tearjerker. Okay, as a parent of a kid that comes to the school district, I think it's very important for us to continue this dialogue and this conversation on how we can make things better for our kids. Because in public education, we service all kids. And it's a very sensitive subject. But I just want the parents to know and understand that we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we have specialists like Mrs. Nettles and
Yes,
and your great
Ms.
staff
Nettles.
that you have. That we're going to continue doing and everything that we can to
Right.
to provide their kids with the best opportunities to learn, okay, and to have a better life, okay, in the future. But once again, man, thank you all, Mrs. Nettles. Thank you all so very much for the presentation. It was amazing.
Thank you. I have one last video to show. I just want to recap by saying I'm very proud to say that San Benito CISD, parents ask us, is there a cure for autism? And we say there's no cure. But I'm very proud to say that in San Benito, we help by supporting, by training, going into the homes. And I can say that's almost like a cure because we have many children that graduate, that have autism, that go on to college, to 2-year degree, that go on with certifications. And so while there is no cure, I'm very proud to say that in San Benito, we have one of the best departments in assisting and supporting with autism. So as part of our Autism Awareness Month, KSBG, I want to shout out Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Sergio Garcia here. I came to them and said, we want to promote the awareness, and we would like to, I have some staff that wanted to author a poem that would kind of exude what is it like and what is the journey of a child with autism. could you videotape some children? And Mr. Garcia here ran with Ms. Aguilar one day on a Monday, and they were able to capture some moments, and this 52-second video is an expression of their autism.
Thank you once again. That was
Thank
a
you.
beautiful presentation.
Thank you all.
Okay, let's move on to agenda item 3.2, the update of the 23-24 revenues and the estimate for the 24-25 revenues. Ms. Mata?
Okay, hold on. Okay. Good evening, Board President, Board members, Mr. Perez, Acting Superintendent. I'm going to be presenting on the revenues for 23-24 and 24-25. Just an update and our estimated for next year. This is the beginning of the budget process. So just to get into it, the first page shows the timeline. Currently, we're working on the estimated revenues, and I'm going to by the end of Friday, I'm going to send out the departments and campuses their allotments for both local and state funding. Then in May, hopefully come back to you all with expenditures for departments. Then in June, the campuses, and then finalize at the end of June. That's any questions on the timeline? The next section is the estimated revenues. This is the same presentation that I did last year, just with updated numbers for 23-24, and then I added 24-25. So you can see that in 22-23, the change was that our ADSY, which is our funding that we had for that program, helped us a little bit, because you can see the loss was only 114.99 as compared to the 730 the previous year. For this year, you can also see that impact of ADSY that we didn't have, so we're going to a 199.687 loss. So for the 23-24 fiscal year, which is current year, our ADA, we had projected 8,016. For our best 4-6 weeks, it's 7,939.728. So there's a loss there. Now, I did, the 5th 6 weeks did end on Friday, the April 12th. I did get updated numbers, but it was lower than the 4th. Coincidentally, the first 6 weeks was the highest. So next year's projection, we're going to estimate a loss of 139, and we'll be projecting our revenues at 7,800 students. Any questions on that? Okay, to go into the next page, again, same information from the year before. I updated the figures for 22-23 and 23-24. Again, the 22-23 are updated as of 11/20/2023 as per TEA.
Ms. Mata,
Yes?
I know you've presented to us on some, like the first rating and things like that, and that's a delayed
Yes.
type of, not production, that's delayed
Report.
numbers.
Yeah.
This isn't delayed, this is real time.
The 21-22 are real time for TA.
Okay.
So the 21-22, they updated it June 30th, 2023, I believe. 22-23, they updated it 11/30 or 11/13, 2023. The 23-24 are numbers based off of Skyward, our student system. And then 24-25 are estimated for next year based on 23-24 numbers and what we're anticipating. If you can see that our revenues are going to be higher, the 71 million versus 70 million, and then the 5811, which is our available, again, these two numbers, the first two that you see there, are our general fund. That goes into our 199 account. We have an increase of 551,600, which is a good thing. I was mentioning to Mr. Perez when I met with him that our attendance rate for the first through fourth 6 weeks was 92.1%. For the first 6 weeks, which, like I said, I mentioned that was our highest 6 weeks for attendance for ADA, it was at 93.9. Had we kept the 93.9% attendance rate for the first, or for the 4-6 weeks, or just 4-6 weeks in general, we would have generated $1,283,721 more in revenue. So attendance, like I keep stating, is enrollment is good. I love enrollment, high numbers, and we do have a 9,000 something enrollment, but our attendance is what we get funded on from the state.
Ms. Mata, I'm so sorry.
That's
Can you
okay.
go back to the slide before this? Okay, so right now, our ADA trend 23-24 is 7,939.
Yes.
And our enrollment, is the difference between our ADA average and our enrollment, is that difference bigger from years prior?
I can run a report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I feel like after COVID, our attendance has just been, but that's just how I feel. Like, I don't know what the numbers say.
I'll run reports as far as maybe 2-3 years back, like current year, and then maybe 22, 23, and 21, 22, or do you want to do 2020? Because 2021 was a COVID year.
So the year right before COVID.
1920? Okay.
And then the years after COVID.
Okay.
So basically what I want to know is the ratio. The ratio, basically, ADA over enrollment for 18-19, and then same thing rolling over.
Okay, so just to give you an example, because I did ask for that report for this fiscal year. And let me see, just to pick a campus. And the first ones are the ones that have 100% because they're Gateway and PRC and all that. So for Miller Jordan, first 6 weeks they had 600 attendance enrollment. Mind you, this probably is the first week of the 6 weeks. And then for the first 6 weeks, let me look for them. They had 542.429 attendance, which was 93.1%. So the enrollment was 600, I'm sorry, yet the ADA was 542. So there's the difference there. So I can send you all these figures or these reports, but it'll be for this year only, but I can get that same information for prior years.
Thank you, sorry.
That's good. Okay, so, I'm sorry, going back to, any other questions, I'm sorry, on that? No? Okay, going back to the summary of finance template, the bottom portion is the INS, which is what we get funded for our bond payments that we have. And you can see that we are gonna get about $500,000 more next year than previous year. So we're doing better in the INS, and we're going to do better in the MNO. So hopefully we're going to get an increase of overall for MNO and INS funding of $1,144,646. Okay? Any questions on that?
Yes, I do, ma'am. I know not several, 3 years ago, I guess, 2.5, whatever it may be, we reduced, the board reduced, I don't know if it was MNO, it was the tax by 1 penny.
Yes.
Can you please explain to the board how it affects the funding for our kids, please? The resources?
It was, I believe, last year in 22-23. We decreased by 1 cent, and I actually did contact Amanda just to make sure, because I know that's a question that the board had been asking, and she coincidentally emailed me this morning, and she did state that, I don't know if you remember, I think that when we were discussing it at the meeting, when it was reduced, I think the prediction was that we were going to lose like $300,000. She emailed me back and she said roughly an estimate would be $124,000 in local revenue lost, $338,000 in state revenue lost, for a total loss of $462,000. Mind you, I did email back because when she emailed me back, she stated it was for 23-24, and I'm like, can I assume the same amount would be lost for 22-23, which was the first year that we reduced the penny? And long story short, she said roughly yes.
So I think it's clear and so everybody understands how impactful that is for our fund balance. You know, that's almost $450,000 we're going to get less. And actually, the consultants that came at the time, ma'am, and you were very clear that it wasn't a good idea to do it, and it was done anyway. So anyway, I just wanted the board to know how it impacts our finances, especially right now when we're talking about attendance, talking about ADA, talking about all that funding that we need, and all these programs needing money. I think it's very important to highlight that and see how it's going to impact us moving forward. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Any questions on the summary of finance template? The next one, oh, sorry, I went the wrong way. The next one is a tax, I'm sorry. These are the programs that we have, our state programs: compensatory ed, bilingual, career technology, special ed. Those first 4 programs, we get allotted an amount, and we have to spend 55%. Keynote point is that career technology, I probably give them about 67 to 68% funding instead of the 55, and then special ed receives 100% funding for their program. Everybody else has to do 100%, which is a GT, early ed, CCMR, which is a college, career, and military ready, and then the dyslexia allotment. All those have to be expended 100%. Any questions on those?
So all these need to be spent each year?
Yes.
Okay.
And the first ones are based for the special program monitoring, whether a district is in compliance or not.
And are we on target on all these, Ms. Mata, right now?
Yes. We closed the budget process for POs at the end of March 29th. So I'm running reports, because I was waiting for the 6 weeks to end to see if our numbers would increase. Since they didn't, I have to run reports to see where we're at and on the spending. But more than likely, we always meet our compliance. And like I said, for career technology and special ed, those 2 for sure have already met it. The only one that I might be worried about would be the bilingual one, but I've already emailed Mrs. Gonzalez to start looking at what they need for the program, what can be worked on, or what they can buy, because I ran a report. She's having a dual language workshop, I think, in the summer. I was looking at her funding, and the campuses didn't expend like $100,000. So that needs to, and that's part of the 55%. So that needs to be expended. So mind you, we are still going to meet for summer school, so that might take up some of the money.
So all the other departments were good, though?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, the next one is the projected tax rate. The proposed tax rate for M&O is 0.7632. Again, you can see it says pending MCR, which we get in August of 2024. We submit the report to TEA, and we say this is our collection rate, this is where our rate was, and they tell us this is what you can approve without a tax election that has to be voted upon by the voters. The INS rate would be 0.2799, which has been consistent for years. And then the estimated collection rate is $10,013,533 for M&O tax collections and $3,595,778 for INS. On here, I don't know if you remember at the beginning of the year when they took to the voters statewide to increase the tax, the exemption, That, last year, it was 15 million in estimated tax collections. That has gone down, but our funding from the state went up. So next year, they're looking at 10 million based on our property value. Any questions? That's it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You ready? Okay, let's move on to agenda item number 4, public comment. Dr. Cruz.
The next item on the agenda is public comment. Before we begin, I will remind our audience members of the board's procedures for handling public comments. The public comment portion of our meeting is available to members of the public according to the following. At regular board meetings, the board shall permit public comment regardless of whether the topic is an item on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. At all other board meetings, public comment shall be limited to items on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Anyone who would like to speak during public comment must sign in prior to the start of the meeting and list the topics they want to discuss. An individual's public comments to the board shall not exceed 5 minutes per meeting. Please keep your comments or criticisms civil and courteous. Please avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during your opportunity to speak. We ask that you do not discuss students who are not your own children. In addition, the participating individual shall adhere to the following: state their full name and what organization or group, if any, is being represented, indicate the topic about which they wish to speak, shall refrain from commenting directly on any individual employee or public official by name, but may refer to a specific employment area, job title, or the board as a whole, and shall refrain from attacks on individuals. Lastly, if after at least one warning from the presiding officer, any individual continues to disrupt the meeting by his or her words or actions, the presiding officer may request assistance from law enforcement officials to have the individual removed from the meeting. If a speaker is speaking board resolution of a specific complaint, that concern should be addressed through the district's grievance process. District policy DGBA has been established for addressing employee complaints. Policy F&G is the avenue for filing parent complaints, and policy GF addresses community member complaints. Grievance forms can be obtained at any campus administration office or at the district central administration offices. Thank you. Our first speaker is Ms. Rosalinda Garcia.
Good evening, Mr. Acting Superintendent and members of the board. I'm going to start my comment by a rebuttal on that 1 cent tax. State Representative Janie Lopez, I recall, made that recommendation, and it was to save the taxpayers, the community of San Benito, help the parents, help out in their expenses, because we're a low poverty area, and we know, and she knows how they struggle. And that amount that she stated, that it's not even half of what we lost returning those ESSER funds. It was $800,000 that we had to return. So that 1 cent tax rate is nothing compared to what we lost because of mistake. And I want to continue with the autism presentation. That was awesome. It hits my heart like I think it did to a certain board member, having a 50-year-old unidentified autistic child. Yes, a lot of children do go unidentified. And like they say, they talked about the parents. Yes, parental involvement, that's the way to go. Your life is so much brighter for the child and for the family. So thank you, Special Ed Department. Teachers are awesome, and so are the students. I want to continue with the bond. Mr. Salazar, I want to clarify one thing, though. I want to clarify that grant money does not have to be paid. This $40 million bond that we voted, we have to pay it back, and even more. Le quiero decir a la comunidad, cuando dan dinero en un grant, eso no lo tenemos que pagar. Pero esto, edificio que nomás está allí, de 40 millones, lo tenemos que pagar para atrás. Y pienso que va a ser más de 40,000. So, si alguien dice que no tenemos que pagar, sí tenemos que pagar esto para atrás, años y años. I want to go back and, like Mr. Salazar said, it was disappointing to hear the statement. We have paid him like 10 months at $5,000 a month. And it really was in January where we heard a statement only because of parents wanting to hear something after the construction was stopped by Ms. Cervellon, former superintendent. Mr. Salazar said Berkeley was no mom and pop company, and he sure proved it because they replied right away. They replied, and the newspaper, it didn't make a sensational story, but it is, because they really contradicted everything Mr. Salazar and the board was telling us. There's no commitment. We know in real estate, if there's a disaster, which we had with COVID, and that delayed the construction, in real estate, really, that's a way out. I don't know about this one. It's way beyond me. But there was a disaster. So I know it's probably going to end up in courts. But I want to go to the comments that Mr. Salazar and the board said that it's going to take a little time. A little time. It's already been a lot of time since Ms. Cervellon stopped this construction. And Ms. Cervellon stopped the construction, and then the board said it didn't have to be stopped. So now, how come I really don't hear any new developments? I just saw a payment that we have to do, or y'all are approving of $17,000. Was that the second opinion that y'all requested?
You've got 10 seconds.
For $17,000, what did we get from that report? You tested the soils?
Time is up, ma'am. Thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next public comment speaker is Ms. Mary Maney.
Good evening, Board. Acting Superintendent Mr. Perez, Board President Lopez, all the board members, and our teachers and community. Basically, I want to kind of do the good news part. You know, I want to thank the fact that we have an excellent security department and police department, so that when we went into a lockdown earlier this past week, we didn't have a major incident at the school. Kids kind of took it a little lackadaisically, but I mean, it was one of these that did not interrupt in any of what was going on. There was no major panic, at least from our end as the teachers, as we were hearing. Oh, and by the way, I am a math teacher at the high school. Sorry, forgot to introduce myself. Also, I do appreciate that the board members who are up for election this time showing up at the Meet the Candidates, so that there were questions that could be asked of you outside of this forum, because not everybody comes to a school board meeting, as well as councilmen that were up, so that, you know, the feel of the school board working with the community and the town came across a little bit stronger. That really was a good showing for us as San Benito. Also, we don't hear enough about it, but the cooperation that we have between the different departments, the staff members, the different schools, and how they can pull together to pull off things like the Autism Walk and, Fall Festival and stuff that we've done with the after-school programs. But one of the things that impressed me really this past week since the last board meeting is I was forwarded information so that I could actually put together a field trip last minute. Would be nice if budget was still open a little bit, but that's all right. So that we can take 2 busloads of kids to Edinburgh to meet Jose Hernandez, who is a million miles away. In the movie, he's the astronaut that's from our area, migrant farmer to engineer to astronaut, so the kids can actually get a feel for what is possible. And I think that's more so anything, and that's one of the things special ed was talking about on the autism, is the possibilities. That able, not label, it doesn't just apply to autism. It applies to the people that have a racist impression of the fact that we are from the valley, that we are from a low poverty area, the fact that we can actually go out and do these things. I recently was accused of being part of an affluent school system because of some of the stuff we've been able to do by the help of community members, staff members, and that. So we need to promote not just the school, but the things that we're doing. I mean, we're promoting coming to San Benito as a public school district, which, do not get me wrong, is absolutely where we need to go. I kind of am anti-charter, but that's something else entirely. But, what do we have down here that nobody else has? Our CTE department. We have after-school programs and sports programs, not just football, but are making it to national and state. Where else do you hear about female powerlifters, female wrestlers? In a lot of the schools I've taught at, and I've taught at quite a few, yes, they have a really strong female sports program. Do we hear about it? No, it's not football. It's not band. So, we've got to get up and do a little bit more of pushing what we offer. So that if I've got a student who's going to, is it regional or state? Golf. Anyways, but there's 2 of them that are going.
20 seconds.
Okay. So, but the thing is we need to work more on our marketing. But thank you very much, and appreciate what you're doing for us.
Okay. Our next speaker is Mr. Michael Reyes.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Reyes, maintenance welder for the school district. I would like to talk to you about this upcoming school year's budget and to ask for adjustments to be made to the compensation of maintenance-based personnel due to the increased cost of living or inflation. This school year, we were only given 2 to 3% raise, which equals to about 15 to 20 cent increase, far underpacing inflation or the cost of living. I made a petition to bring awareness of how many maintenance-based employees felt we needed more given our compensation has been reduced based on the current cost of necessities. I had just about half of maintenance-based sign on, and some didn't. But that was either because they feared retaliation or they didn't get to hear about it till this past week, given I was being harassed not to make this petition to the point where I was given rules that that didn't exist. And when I asked the central office about these rules, they told me I had to watch what I was doing during my work hours, and in which I encouraged them to look at the cameras and watch me work. During the school year, I noticed there was a lot of new stipends being added, job descriptions being adjusted, and I'm certain, since they're in normal talks with central office, compensations being increased. And like usual, if any maintenance-based employees speak out, we're usually denied, silenced, or what I feel is somewhat retaliated in some way, shape, or form. I just wanted to ask the board if you were aware of the situation where rules were placed on petitioning by central office when there were no rules outlined by the district. No? No comments? I would also like the board to consider making union for maintenance employees like me to curb any fear of retaliation, or if we're just encouraged to talk more with you, all the board, or to talk to OSHA about complaints or continuous mistreatment of maintenance employees. And would the board be willing to commit to solving issues like these and more by taking like an anonymous surveys for suggested improvements for maintenance employees without fear of any retaliation, given our input? Here before me are the people who signed in. If you're interested in looking at that, I mean, I did go through the trouble of making the petition, like I stated earlier. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, and our last public comment is Ms. Lupita.
Just tell me when I'm ready. Good evening, my name's Lupita, and I'm here because I have certain concerns. My first one is maintenance, raise. Thank you for having me here tonight, and I also want to say that thank you for the board members for approving last year's additional raise for a $1.50 increase for our maintenance employees. Thank you for acknowledging their hard work, dedication, and commitment to Sacramento ISD. Insurance, thank you again, the current board, for getting insurance companies and having the insurance presentation. It was explained very well and transparent. Not only did you save thousands of taxpayers' dollars, you saved thousands of dollars for the district, but most importantly, you have saved thousands of dollars to the district employees, that you have protected the district's funds for helping the employees. Resignation. For a clarification to the community, the former superintendent was put on leave on the board meeting in September 8th, 2023. Then on board meeting, September 23, they anonymously accepted the superintendent's resignation as discussed executive session unanimously. All 7 board members accepted her resignation. The board did not buy her out contract, neither was she fired. She quit, she resigned. And you can go to her contract, which is 6/16/2022 in the website, 7.5 resignation superintendent, it's there. Email. I'm extremely concerned of a certain confidential email that was sent out directly to the board members. With this confidential information on April 3rd, 2024, that was leaked out, posted social media by a member of the public of the next day on April 4th. This greatly disturbs me and raises concerns that any of my confidential emails I've sent to the district have been also compromised. Therefore, For transparency to the community, I am now asking the board members to retake the oath of office. May I remind each and every one of the board that you have sworn to fully execute the duties of the official of the district to the best of your abilities to preserve confidentiality, information to protect and define it at all times, constitutions law by the United States. And the other one is going to be on the superintendent. I know last time when they hired the superintendent, former Superintendent Servillon, I know they made one of the board members vice president to sign a policy, an open policy. Let me remind the board and the public, we voted you in. We trust you. We give you authority. So anything that goes on in our district, you have the right to ask, because we, the community, elected you. And let me remind you again, once you take the oath, I am asking the board president to report it to TEA, to report it to TASB. This should be not taken lightly, because as a stakeholder, as a taxpayer, as a registered voter, I trust you. With something like this, I expect for you all to take the oath, because this was uncalled for. And I will ask for my all emails, because I've sent you and other board members and former board members, and see if they have not sent my email somewhere else. Because let me tell you, if I find out that they saw my email somewhere else, that's uncalled for. I'm here because we trust you. We have you here, but for something like this, is uncalled for. It just makes you think, like, can we trust you? Can we trust one of y'all? Because let me tell you, one of you leaked it. And they should be either reprimanded or removed from the board. But that I would do.
15 seconds.
But again, thank you for the board that, and also thank you for the teachers that they're getting that stipend for, perfect attendance, and also for autism. I think that's great. That's awesome. They're doing great. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to agenda item number 5. Board reports 5.1, the annual announcement of continuing education of board members. Under the State Board of Education ruling requiring continuing education each year serves as a basic obligation and expectation of a sitting board member. As a board president, I am required to announce the names of each board member who have completed or required continuing education, has exceeded the requirement continuing education, or is deficient in meeting the required continuing education. The requirement of the trainings are measured as a first-year anniversary of the date of the trustee's election or appointment, or 2-year anniversary of his or her previous training, if applicable, as applicable. There are 8 training areas the board members continuing education. Number 1, local district orientation completed by all. Number 2, orientation to the Texas State Code completed by all. 3, post-legislative update on the Texas Education Code. Incomplete, Eru Cruz, Mario Silva, Oscar Medrano, Rudy Corona. Number 4, team building, none. Number 5, additional continuing education, incomplete, Dr. Cruz. Number 6, evaluating student academic performance and setting goals, incomplete, Dr. Cruz. Identifying the board's reporting abuse, trafficking, and other maltreatment of children, incomplete, Dr. Cruz, Mario Silva, Orlando Lopez, and Oscar Medrano. Number 8, school safety, incomplete, Alex Reina, Dr. Cruz, Mr. Gomez, and Orlando Lopez. For all board members who still have the remaining to complete training, I will announce those board members who have scheduled time training for those who have not yet scheduled the training. So we have upcoming SLI for individuals in training. In June, we have our ROS BA in May. So we will be getting our training there. So at this moment, I'm going to go and give the number of credit hours that continue education. So there's several criterias. Dr. Cruz, I'm sorry, Alexena, 7 hours. Dr. Cruz, 0 hours. Mr. Frutoso Gomez, 48. Mario Silva, 10.5. Orlando Lopez, 24.75. Oscar Medrano, 37.5. And Rudy Corona, 20.75. So it's something to be clear. This is something that we have to do by the Texas Code, as we discussed here, the Education Code as sitting board members. But there is still several conferences ahead, so they can make up their hours. So everybody is pretty much in compliance. Thank you.
Can you repeat the hours again, please?
Yes, sir. You just want yours, or you want everybody's? You have a copy of it, don't you? You don't have a copy? I think so. Let me go back. But anyway, Alexena, 7 hours. Dr. Ariel Cruz, 0 hours. Frutoso Gomez, 46 hours. Mario Silva, 10.5 hours. Orlando Lopez, 24.75 hours. Oscar Medrano, 37.5 hours. And Rudy Corona, 20.75 hours. And all board members can also go into your CEUs and make sure that this information is correct. And you can always. Yes. Yes. So it sounds, yeah, so you have to go into, and we just have to give an update, but you can always add to this. Okay, sir? Yes, sir. Yeah, we got new ordinance pending. We got a few other ones that are still pending. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Silva. All right. So let's move on to agenda item number 6, Acting Superintendent Report. Mr. Pettis.
Good evening, everyone. San Benito CISD parents, students, and employees, as we embark in the final stretch of the school year, I would like to take a moment to reflect on the journey we've undertaken together. As everyone knows, our students are currently in the process of their STAR and end-of-course testing, and I pray that the work and dedication they have done to this point produces a positive outcome. I want to thank the teachers for all of their hard work, the parents for their continued support, and of course the students for their resilience and determination. On another note, as we know, the district recently approved a perfect attendance incentive program for our teachers for the third and the fourth quarter of this school year. I want to thank the 141 teachers that qualified for this third quarter incentive. It is still a little early to see the monetary benefits to the district, but I am positive that the benefits to the students are tremendous for the teachers being with them on a daily basis. Again, thank you, everybody, students, staff, and parents.
In order to promote efficient meetings, the board may act upon more than one item by a single vote through the use of consent agenda. Consent items are placed on the agenda shall be marked with an asterisk. Consent items are items for which no board discussion is anticipated and for which the superintendent recommends approval. Prior to the time which approval of consent agenda is had, at the request of any member of the Board of Trustees, any item on the consent agenda shall be removed and given individual consideration. 7.1, request approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between San Benito CISD and Communities in Schools for the 2004-2005 school year. Questions? Consent. 7.2, request approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between San Benito CISD and Texas State Technical College Dual Credit Program for the 2024-2025 school year. Question? Consent. Request approval of the Memorandum of Agreement between San Benito CISD and Tropical Texas Behavioral Health for the 2024-2025 school year. Questions? Consent. 7.4, request approval of the TEAC certification form for the 2024-2025 school year. Questions? Consent. Agenda item 8.1, request approval of cash account reports for March 2024. Question? Consent. 8.2, request approval of comparison of revenue and expenditures to budget report for March 2024. Questions? Consent. 8.3, request approval of tax collection report for March 2024. Question? Consent. 8.4, request approval of check disbursements report for March 2024. Agenda item 8.5, request approval of quarterly investment report. Question? Consent. 8.6, request approval of quarterly federal funds comparison report. Question? Consent. 8.7, request approval of gifts/bequests for the 2023-2024 school year. Question? Consent. 8.8, request approval of budget amendments. Questions? Consent. 8.9, request approval of purchases over $50,000. Questions? Consent. 8.10, request approval to award bid proposal of RFP 0324 CBS Charter Bus Services District-wide. Questions? Consent. Agenda item 9.1, request approval of the agreement between San Benito CISD Teach for America Professional Services for the 2024-2025 school year. Questions? Consent. Agenda item 9.2, request approval to award bid proposal CSP 0324 FTS BHS field turf for baseball, softball fields at San Benito High School. Questions? I have a question. And then agenda item 9.3, request approval of board minutes. Questions? Consent. Okay. At this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve all agenda items 7.1 through 7.4, 8.1 through 8.3, 8.5 to 8.10, 9.1, and 9.3.
So moved.
Second.
I've got a motion by Mr. Medrano and a second by Mr. Silva. All those in favor? So moved. Okay, going to agenda item 8.4, request approval of check disbursements report for March 2024. Mr. Gomez?
I'm going to abstain on that one, Madam Vice President. No,
Oh,
you're-
okay. Any other questions? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and ask for a motion for approval of check disbursements report for March 2024.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I've got a motion by Mr. Silva and a second by Mr. Lopez. All those in favor?
I'm sorry.
I'm going to ask it one more time.
I
All
abstain.
those in favor? Okay, we've got 6 and 1 abstention.
Abstain. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 9.2, request approval to award bid proposal CFP FTSBHS field turf for baseball, softball fields at San Benito High School. I know this is kind of a big one, so I just wanted to pull it out so that we can let the community know.
So what we're asking to approve is for our baseball and softball fields at the high school. They're wanting to install the turf, artificial turf like we do on our football field, but it'll be for our baseball and softball fields.
This has been a conversation going on for a while. It's very obvious how decorated our softball team is, and kudos to the parents and the kids for all the successes there, and the coaches, and as well as our baseball. And this is nothing short of amazing how our finance department, after years of discussion, came up with the funds to go ahead and pursue this endeavor. If anybody knows, we've had this conversation going on for 2 or 3 years, and finally it came to fruition. So I want to thank the board, honestly, for coming together and pushing this very, very important project. And it's going to be amazing, for our kids to play on that type of state-of-the-art fields. So once again, Mr. Perez, board members, and staff, finance staff, thank you so much for coming up with the resources to give the board an opportunity to pass this deal.
So the one that got it is field turf, correct?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We've got a motion by Mr. Lopez and a second by Mr. Silva. All those, please raise your hand. Motion passed. In accordance with Texas Government Code Open Meetings Act, the board may move into closed session for the following reasons. Section 551.071, for the purpose of a private consultation with the board's attorney on any or all subjects of matters authorized by law. Section 551.074, for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee. At this time, it's 7:13, and the board is moving into closed session. It is 8:15, and we're reconvening into open session. Do I need to repeat myself? No? We're good? Okay. Agenda item 11.3, employment resignations, retirements, and terminations. Mr. Pettis?
Yes, I recommend to the board to approve the employment resignations and retirements and terminations as discussed in executive session.
So move.
Second.
I've got a motion by Mr. Lopez and a second by Mr. Silva. All those in favor? Agenda item 11, no. Hello, no. Agenda item 11.4, discussion, consideration, and possible action to renew term contracts for administrators for the 2024-2025 and/or 24-25 and 25-26 and 26-27 school year.
So
Mr.
move.
Bettis?
Second.
Okay.
I recommend to the board to approve the renewal term contracts for administrators for the 24-25, 25-26, and 26-27 school year as discussed in executive session.
So move.
Second.
I've got a motion by Mr. Lopez and a second by Mr. Medrano. All those in favor? Was that 7?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
7. Agenda item 11.5, discussion and possible approval of employment of technology director. You have to name it.
Yes. I recommend to the board the employment of Technology Director Rene Guerra as discussed in executive session.
Second.
I've got a motion by Mr. Lopez and a second by Mr. Gomez. All those in favor? 7-0. Agenda item 11.6, discussion and possible action on legal update of Natatorium and Performing Arts Center.
Yes, as discussed in executive session 11.6, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
I've got an approval by Mr. Lopez and a second by Mr. Silva. All those in favor? Now I'd like a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So move.
I've got a motion by Mr. Lopez and a second by Mr. Silva. All those in favor? Meeting adjourned. It's 8:17. Good night, everybody.